So in this video I'll be talking about why your fuel pump is always failing and how you can stop it from happening. Of course, before now, like in the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, and probably early 90s, early 90s, I think for Peugeot cars, I think basically was in the 80s. Okay, early 90s, let's just leave it at that. That they stopped using mechanical fuel pumps. I know when I talk about mechanical fuel pumps, like the ones used on the SN engines, 504, Peugeot 504s, Peugeot 505, and all that. All those Peugeot cars that had carburetor, fuel carbureted engines. That's what I'm talking about. As in, if you had a Peugeot car that had carburetor, that inject fuel into the combustion chambers, then he had mechanical fuel pump attached on the engine, unlike the current one we use now that is mostly inside the fuel tank. We call it in-tank fuel. However, back then, even in the 70s and 80s, we also had EFI engines in some Peugeot cars that also we are using in-tank fuel. That's the electric fuel pumps, not the mechanical ones. Basically all Peugeot 505 V6 had the electric fuel pump, not the mechanical type. I'm not so sure about the SN6 engine. Not so sure, because I know it uses used mechanical fuel injection system, so it's probably you had the electric fuel pump or the mechanical one. Okay, so the electrical fuel pump, this is the type I'm talking about. I know a lot of people, whether you're a Peugeot user or not, you understand what I mean. So this is the type this is actually an old pump I removed from one of my customers' car. Then the assembly, this is the fuel pump assembly. That's you can see I'm just as I'm holding the camera, so I could have shown you the location of the fuel pump inside this fuel pump assembly. So because I know you'll be wondering how come this fuel pump or this plastic has changed from white to this color. Of course, originally it was white, pure white color, but it was Nigerian fuel. The fuel we use in Nigeria, once you put in a new fuel pump or bring in a Tokumbo vehicle or foreign used vehicle, 6 months later it's going to turn to something like this. Anyway, back to the video. Now, even the mechanical fuel pumps during that era were also failing, but not like I've started observing with the electric fuel pump in modern vehicles, not just Peugeot cars. I remember the SN engine, like the SL1, SL1A. The mechanical fuel pump is attached a little bit under the carburetor. It's actually on the engine block. And then there is something there back there. I don't remember, or I'm not sure I know the tool name. It's actually in the middle of that pump. The pump has two parts, both iron or metal attached together. So something that is a rubber, more like a sail, that is between the two parts. And that sail, I remember then, if you buy the fake fuel pump, most times those sails will leak, probably 1,000 or maybe a year or two. They will start leaking fuel, and which can actually make your car boom. What I mean is it will set the car to fire, because at that time, maybe when you start leaking very small, you may not really know, because the pressure will still be coming up and the engine will be running. Though if you are very observant, you notice that there will be power drop. The engine power will not be fully there. for those who are observant. As the leakage increases, what will now happen is when the engine becomes very, very hot, as long as the bonnet is closed and that engine bay becomes hot, the heat is enough to tow or ignite those fuel leaking from the fuel pump, the mechanical fuel pump. So he was also having his own issues at that time. So it's not like mechanical fuel pump was the best. Because had it was somewhere under the tank or somewhere far from the fuel engine bay, of course it will not cause the fire. Just like the intake one, the fuel pump that we call intake fuel pump, the electric one that is not inside the tank, if it's bad, it will not affect, it won't cause any fire, it will not, but I won't rule it out. I will still come to that. At least it won't really cause any fire from the engine bay. So of course everything are positive and negative. So that's for the mechanical. Now, something I've observed about this thing is most people, this electric one, almost every like 6 months, some don't even last up to 6 months, they will fail. I'm talking about this electric one that you find inside the fuel pump. Before I continue with this one, we also, like, even in this era, we have another mechanical fuel pump that is being used in the newer Peugeot vehicles, but mostly found in turbocharged engines like the THP engines, like the ones in Peugeot 508, 308 and the rest. Now the mechanical fuel pump doesn't mean that they have mechanical fuel pump doesn't mean that's the only pump they have. They do come with 2 fuel pumps. The one inside the in-tank one, the one inside the fuel tank, which is still electric, and then the one attached on the cylinder head. That one, we call it high pressure fuel pump. So that one, in fact, funny enough, that's even the one that fails most often than the one in the tank. Once you have any turbocharged Peugeot vehicle, the high pressure pump is the one that usually fails. Doesn't mean the in-tank one will not fail, but that's my observation. So like I was saying, I've observed that this pump, the electric one, usually fails on some people's vehicle. A lot of people call to complain, how come every 2 months they are changing their fuel pumps? Of course, most times, obviously, because they are buying fake fuel pumps. However, it doesn't really matter whether you are buying fake or original, because your attitude can actually be the cause of the failure. By attitude, that means the way you use your vehicle. You can actually be killing your pump probably every 30 days or a little bit more than that. If you are the type that only change or only top up your fuel tank when your vehicle start warning you that the fuel is low, then you are the reason why your fuel pump is always failing. For people, like I said, it has become a habit. It's a normal thing. The only time they will go into a fuel station to add fuel is maybe if they want to travel or do long distance, or that's meaning even if they still have fuel in the tank, they will just go in to fill it up. Or maybe they have no intention to travel, but then they just have to wait until that pink or red sign on that fuel gauge comes up, or the multifunction display, or whatever screen you have on your vehicle start beeping or start telling you fuel level too low. Fuel, you know your Peugeot car, so you know the kind of warning or where the warning pops up when you have fuel, low fuel in your fuel tank. If you are the type that that's the only time you go in to refill your tank, you will always be having fuel pump issue. I don't even want to get to the injectors, but for now, you will always be having your fuel pump will always be failing. It doesn't matter if you buy original. let me give you an example. Sometime in 2015, 2015, my Peugeot 406 V6 manual fuel pump failed after about close to like 200,000. The original one, I'm not talking about, I was the person that removed it for the very first time since they produced that vehicle, removed the fuel pump. Meaning the pump lasted close to, I can't remember, I know I noted it in the dial of that vehicle, more like the logbook, but then I can't remember the exact figure of the mileage, but I know it was close to that 200,000 kilometers. So to tell you that your fuel pump can actually last you, especially if it's original, it can last you for hundreds of thousands, at least close to 200,000, which could be more than 10 years. So it failed, and I bought, I was in Anambra State at that time, so I bought a fake one. That was what I could find, I could afford at that time. How much? Like 4,000, if I could remember correctly. I put it, no, that was I think it was in 2013, not 2015, either 2013 or 2014, something like that. So I bought it, put it, it brought me back to Abuja, I kept, and then 1 year later it failed again. So I bought another pump here in Abuja, put it, that one was worse, as in you couldn't even start the vehicle. I had to crank the engine several times, switch off, start it before the car could start. So I decided to order again, that same one I bought a year ago at that time from Anambra State. I called the seller, he sent one to me, I put it. This time I was in 2015 that the second pump failed. The pump I bought in Anambra failed. So I ordered that same one. I threw away the one I bought in Abuja. That I just used it for like a week. I just couldn't deal with that. The mess it was creating, as in had to crank engine like 5 times for it to start. So I ordered one from Anambra, the same one I used for over a year. Ordered it. I was like, okay, it means I'll be changing pump every 1 year. That was more like the conclusion I had at that time, since the original was too expensive for me to buy at that time, because original usually comes in as a complete assembly. When that pump came in, I put it, and somehow I was like, okay, let me try something. I made a decision to never ever let my fuel in the tank gets below 20 liters. As in, no matter what, I want to always have up to 20 liters in the fuel tank. Like I said, no matter what. So I made a conscious decision or choice to always refill my tank once it gets to half gauge. So what I did the first time was I went and filled up the tank. As long as I'm not traveling, I must always be having fuel, or must not allow fuel to go beyond the half gauge of the fuel gauge. So I went and filled up the fuel tank. Then I'll use it, the 406 takes about 70 liters. I'll just keep using it. Once it starts getting close to half of the gauge, I'll go and fill it. It's not like I was filling it up this time. I will go and add like 20 additional 20 liters to take it back, that is somewhere closer to the full tank, and I keep using it. It became enough for me, as in for more than 1 year I was just doing that. Could you believe that since that 2015, this was the same pump, the same brand, the same everything I used for a year, and it failed. This pump failed to February 2019. February 2019. Look, meaning it lasted me for about 5 years, unlike before that it lasted only a year. Simply because I made sure the fuel never gets to the point where it starts affecting the fuel pump. I'm talking about the fuel level. Because one thing I've observed about this electric pump is fuel cools it. Fuel also lubricates it while it's working. So if you are the type that always drive your tank till it gets to that warning sign. It means at that time probably the fuel is no longer touching this pump. Let me show you an example. For example, this is the fuel assembly, right? I just wish I can get a hand to help me hold this. So, okay, I'll still use this one to explain it. Now, if you know fuel tank is very, very flat, big, depending on the model of your Peugeot car or your vehicle or the size of your tank. So, if you have like 10 liters of fuel in the tank, it's probably, or it's possible that the 10 liters will stop somewhere here. Okay, let me put it somewhere here. I want you to understand, somewhere here, meaning that from here to here, from here to here, will be running very, very hot. From here to here will be running hot because there is no fluid here. There's no fluid here to be cooling it off. So here to here, probably, or even lower than here, maybe, I don't know, maybe because the tank is very, very, so that 10 liters will spread. So it's not like it's in a container. It's going to spread to, you know how tank can be 60, 70 liters, very wide. So even that 20 liters, I say at least I would decide not to allow this thing to come down to, may even stop somewhere here. So you may still have some part of the tank that is not covered by fuel. But at least if you make it a point that no matter what, you will not have anything less than 20 liters in your tank, your fuel pump will last. You will be surprised, even the fake one, how long it's going to last for you. That's mistake people make, and because of ignorance, they really don't know that, oh yeah, you're not saving money. If your fuel is low, you will still have to buy more fuel. So it's not like you are saving money for it. Instead, you are creating more problem for the vehicle. If you can't afford to drive the car because you don't have the money to fuel it or park the vehicle, it will save you more stress than killing your pump. And not only pump, of course, you know, if you always drive on low fuel tank, you are getting this. Sometimes it will pass through the fuel strainer or the fuel filter, send them to your engine, block up your fuel injectors. That one is another problem to deal with. So I made it, you know, and it became annoying. In fact, when I made that decision, I realized that I was just spending almost the same amount I was spending when I was driving till it gets low. Because all I knew was, even sometimes, yeah, you know, maybe I went on for a long journey or something happened. Before I know it, the fuel gauge will go below the half tank. I'll quickly, maybe my next time I'm going to buy fuel, I'll add more money to the 20 liter I usually buy. Maybe add additional money that was like 10 liters. So instead of 20, I'll buy like 30 liters so I to come back, go beyond what I usually buy. You know, always make sure you don't drive till that warning comes up. If you do that, you are the one killing your pump, irrespective of the quality of the pump. Now, I know there are some pumps, even though I said the electric pump will not pose a danger to your vehicle. But trust me, I've seen pumps that are so fake. They are so fake that they were actually burning. You see this place? They were burning it off. Imagine this, even, you know that this thing is always immersed inside the fuel tank. So fuel will cover this entire place, all these things you see, and yet it's burning from here. It's burning here, meaning that it can actually burn your vehicle. So if you are buying, don't just look for the cheapest pump in the market. Yeah, it may be cheap. I can, you know, send fuel to the engine. However, it could lose your vehicle because you want everything so cheap. At least get something that makes more sense, that will last for you, even if you have to add additional money. How much are we talking about? Sometimes it's just additional 1,000, 2,000, at most 5,000, even 10,000. Which one is more important? losing a vehicle that was over $1 million, or I don't even know, than because you don't want to put add extra 5,000 or less or more to protect the vehicle or to save the car from going to ashes. So I've seen pumps. In fact, there was one pump, a Peugeot 206, I've diagnosed one time. The pump was so fake and so bad that the guy put it after 1 week, it started to burn up the fuse, the fuel pump fuse. As in, immediately you connect the fuse, switch on the ignition, it will burn it again. So what I did was, what's going on? I did a direct connection from the battery straight to the fuel pump to see, probably it could be that there is a bridge. Something is wrong with the connection from the fuse box to the pump. So I bypassed it, did a direct connection. Immediately I connected it to the pump. That wire that comes from the positive terminal of the battery to the fuel pump started melting. Immediately it started burning in my presence. Even in the presence of the owner, it burnt it, melted it, meaning that if I had not washed immediately disconnected, it would have blow up the tank or something, or cause fire. So the pump inside got shorted. I don't know what happened to the pump. It started, anything you put on, once you connect any power to it, it will burn it up. And the owner told me that truly he was actually the one that bought it because it was very, very cheap. So luckily for him, the fuse was saving his vehicle. He didn't know. If actually stopped in somewhere, forgetting the name of this place, but somewhere around the central area in Abuja. We spent, in fact, it was in the evening, before I left that place, it was around 9 p.m. to actually explain to you how bad it was. Immediately the next day, because the car has to sleep there, it was already at night, you couldn't get another pump. The next day, immediately you put another pump, the same wire that runs, immediately you put it and put fuse, the car came back to life. So stop buying cheap things. I'm not saying so every cheap thing is bad, but if you are the type that only prefers cheap things, you will be losing. Fuel pump is not just a minor thing, it can burn your entire vehicle. Also, you can help to prevent your pump from failing. For example, when I'm saying this, okay, let me show you. This is my Peugeot 607. Now, this is the fuel gauge. So you can, for the first time, you can say, okay, I will fill up this tank to the full tank, right? Then, of course, from here to the middle of here may take like 30 liters before it gets here. So, another 30 liters or thereabout, depending on the size of your tank, or may even be less than 30, maybe 20 or thereabout. You will find out that every week, or depending on the distance you drive, once you get here, if you put like 3,000 naira fuel, it will jump back to the full. So the only time you spend more money is when you first time you fill it up from here to here. But subsequently, you just be monitoring it. You will be surprised that even that cheap pump or your fuel pump that usually fail every now and then will last you for years or hundreds of thousands of kilometers. As long as the fuel pump is in max or fully lubricated, or fully, it has enough fuel to cover it up, it will work longer than you expect. So now you know why your pump is failing and how to prevent that. This doesn't necessarily mean for only Peugeot car. Yeah, I'm using Peugeot as an example because the system I understand, but if you also drive other brands, this will help you as well. So I hope this makes sense to you. If it doesn't, keep doing what you're doing. It's your vehicle, it's your money, it's your life.